All right, that's a little weird. All right, I touched the red light, right, so it would the screen would pop red light instead of blue light. So and it kicked me out of the video. Anyways, this week has been a little peculiar because I just said kind of screw it with all my habits and my videos and just said I just want to hike. I just want to be in that Zion National Park. I want to do tent camping and not engage that much with technology. So that's why I wasn't posting videos or anything like that. But for the next about 2 weeks, I should be posting continuously until I leave April 2nd, and I'm sure the first couple days are going to just be kind of wild. So I don't know how often I will. I probably should because it's good to keep a routine in a situation where it's going to be total chaos for a little bit. And I can always lean back on my routines. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I want to talk about today is free will. And the conversation and why it came up is I listened to Sam Harris, a short or clip from Sam Harris, a short. So it was less than a minute long, talking about how free will is incompatible with our knowledge of consciousness, um, or the current definition of free will. And unfortunately, it was a short, so I didn't get the definition of what he means by free will in that context. So, because he said the current definition of free will, so I don't know what he's talking about in that sense. But I thought I wanted to elaborate on my idea of free will and determinism a little bit because I haven't talked about it in a while too. And I would say I would disagree with Sam Harris. I would agree that we have a little bit of both. And why I say that is so I think it's quite obvious the influences that the things that influence us that are seen with our actions. So culture is a big one. Why we wear the things we wear. Why we dress and get it haircuts and the different and what is this beards and stuff like that is a lot based on our culture, biological. So why we do certain things, and our hunger, we a lot of our reactions to hunger as well. I don't know, biological. Let me think. I would think it would just be basically being a human being, right? You breathe, either beat your heart, or you blink your eyes, and then there's also you get older, so the heart doesn't beat as fast. The hair starts turning gray, so things that are out of your control. And there's also oh ah, for determinism, also things that happen to you. So that you reciprocate in your environment. So the experiences you had as a child might have shaped your personality and your likes nowadays as well. Uh, I think all of that is pretty self-explanatory. So I don't think anyone's going around and saying we all have free will. Oh, there's only free will, and there's nothing else besides free will, because there's a lot of evidence for things that influence us. Social. Another thing I thought odd about is social peer pressure. Makes us cave and influences our decisions a lot of the times as well. So I do agree with Sam Harris's content, or uh, not influence, but implication that it's in free will. will's ballpark to the people who believe in free will's ballpark to prove that free will is real. Now, I think for me, there's two main reasons or pieces of evidence that lead me towards having some kind of free will. One is how we react to certain situations, like cold showers or like fear. And things like, let's take, for example, cold showers. There's definitely something to say that cold showers do get easier the more times you do them. So you get habitualized to them, and your body gets normalized to them. And in that sense, there is some determinism in that you made it a habit of always going to the shower every single morning to do it. But I would argue that every time you get in front of that cold shower or you get in front of that ice bath, there's always there's always a little bit of hesitation and something stilting you or stopping you from actually going through. Not stopping, but halting you from going through with it. And like I said, habitually doing it so many times makes that voice or that halting voice smaller and smaller, so that every time you approach it, you're able to break through easier and easier and easier. But there's something to say about those first couple times where the body and the mind are converging to prevent the individual from jumping into the cold shower. And there's something to be said for that individual, even though all external pressures and internal pressures are pressuring him into her not to do it, does it anyways and creates that habitual habit, or starts off that habitual habit to actually go into the shower and keep doing it. And I think that's part of free will. I think I can see his argument, and Sam argues, being that there is a lot of that is your characteristics and your personality, of how much how determined you are, and then being able those characteristics to get you to that this situation to actually push you to do it. But I think you can cultivate that as well, and I think that's the main thing and main reason I believe in free will. And well, not the main reason I believe in free will, but the main how free will interacts with us. I don't think we can go around and just say, hey, I'm not going to do this. Hey, I'm not going to do this. Hey, I'm not going to do this. Hey, so I'm going to be virtuous, blah, 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 blah. There's so many external and internal oppressors, and also so much unconscious actions that influence and make us act in certain ways, like how we speak, like how we interact with our people, like our mannerisms. But I think where our free will plays into this is how we can consciously and repeatedly do a certain action until it becomes unconscious and part of us, and then it becomes another internal pressure or for us to go against or to be able to go with. And that's habits, essentially. And so for example, let's think of someone who wants to be physically fit. Someone with free will in this circumstance understands the internal external pressures of going to the gym that is stopping them. Laziness. When you get up in the morning, you don't want to go to the gym. You have a little less willpower, let's just say, to go to the gym. The people you're around, other people are exercising too. What are you listening to? What are you consuming? And all of these things influence you. And the person in where free will comes into play is not being able to overcome these pressures, but to know these pressures and to help make those determined factors in favor help you instead of prevent you from achieving your goals. So for example, you have less willpower in the morning. You can exert your free will to say morning, after the night before, I'm going to put out my clothes and my shoes so that it's a little easier, or even wear my running clothes or gym clothes so that the only thing I have to do is roll out of bed and put my shoes on. The people you associate yourself with. You can find new people to associate yourself with. Even though it's incredibly hard to craft new friendships and destroy old ones, it's something you're able to do. The things you consume, that's a lot easier with your phone. You can work the algorithm to help you find more channels that motivate or inspire, not motivate or inspire, but help give you certain knowledge of going to the gym, of the exercises, of what you want to do at the gym, what would be fun at the gym. And then the more you consume of that, the more are you even become of that person who goes to the gym, or people who go to the gym also watch those videos as well. So I don't want to think of determinism of free will to be two separate things. I want them to be more or coincide next to each other. More like determinism. There's things that determine our actions. And free will helps us to helps us to gather what we know about these internal external factors and help them help us to create healthy habits going forward and to help us influence, not necessarily to go against these pressures, but to help navigate these pressures. It's kind of like I want to argue that determinism is kind of like an ocean or the immensity of a lake, a river, to the dams and canals that we make, and that'll be free will. Free will is able to make the canals, make the dams, to be able to control all and navigate this ocean that is determinism. It can't control it, but it can direct and navigate it, and so that it can free will can direct and push it, guide it to where it needs to be. That's interesting. Never even thought about it like that. Yeah. And I thought I wasn't even doing good today. I'm writing this down. Dams, canals. Dams, canals, determine. Ocean, river. I'm using that later. Anyways, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.